Okay, switching to camera, and we start. Hopefully, have the audio. So that is what it looks like. It's probably start to load the music. Nice. Okay. So, this is gonna be the third try. The third try is the win. So what I'm gonna do is put this aside, one of my VS Code editors here, and prepare my workspace before we start working on this. So now I adopted a new theme that is the Night Owl, and it looks quite good. So let's see how this is gonna play this night, as I'm going to try to make things work. So let's get for starters. Let's set up. Let's go to CDC Git projects. I'm gonna say here CD. So the idea here is to ensure we have all of this. So this toaster should be pretty good to be the thing that we are looking for the stream today. And hopefully we can do something about this. Okay, so let's get. Oh yeah, I need to prepare. Okay, I'm just gonna prepare the directory we're gonna start to work. I'm gonna say here close here. I'm gonna say here cd code. Okay, and now where is this one? This what is my File Explorer? This is let me see, reveal this in File Explorer. Where are you? Oh, okay. So I may have to go here. Oh, because now so I'm gonna say here. Oh yeah, I'm gonna create a new chapter here instead. I'm gonna say here. This is the fourth video. Okay, video 04. CD 04. Okay, nice, clear. And I'm going to start from there, and I'm gonna ensure that I had to showcase first the what we need to achieve today, then showcasing how I'm gonna achieve that. So let's get started. So I'm gonna stay still around here. So let's start now. Okay. So let's get started. Have you ever wondered how to make a toaster service in Angular? I saw many people using foreign packages just to get your toaster served in environments that use Tailwind's UI. But what if I tell you that you can achieve the same by using DaisyUI, Angular, and an Nx framework without practically not downloading any package? So let me show you how I do a toaster service that works in all sorts of positions and see how this works. So let's get started. Okay, so that's gonna be the cut. And now I have to ensure that I display the required objective, and let's start. So this is VS Code, this is camera. Okay, let's see what the project will look like when we finish it. So first I'm gonna switch this in, and we have this DaisyUI initial component with a hamburger menu. And when we do click in the hamburger menu, we have these positions, and we have 3, 6, 9 positions, each one belonging to a different kind of toaster position. And you can start to push as many toasts as you want, depending on the situation that you are. You can push as many toasters as you can. As you can see, pretty much every time I do click, a toaster push ups. So how do I achieve this? Let me show you how I did it. So this is gonna be a cut. And what do I say? And let's go. Let's go. First, I'm gonna set up an NX framework that will help me to set up all this application and show you how can you easily create a toaster service with the respective colors and alerts. No, I had to delete that. Now, how I achieve this? Let me show you how we did it with the CUI and Angular, and how we do approach the solution by adding a service. So let's start by switching to by switching to my NX framework. Oops. Let's start to switch to my VS Code. And what I'm gonna do is to create an NX project with the latest version. So I'm gonna say here npx create NX workspace as latest. Oh damn, this looks too small. People is not gonna see it. Okay, good thing I didn't press enter. So this is gonna be 100%. There you go. Actually, it's usually 100, 110, so people can 120. Yeah, like 121. 120 is gonna be good enough. Okay, sounds good. So let me minimize this here. So okay, delete that. So how you achieve this kind of UI interface? Along with DaisyUI and its toaster component, I use Angular with a service that helps me to generate the toaster service that you just saw. As I do click in several elements, it start to show up a toaster depending on the position. So it's pretty much very configurable. It is pretty much very configurable. Oh, crap. How do I pronounce configurable? Okay. And it is pretty much very configurable. So let's start by switching to VS Code. And the first thing is gonna start a NX workspace. So the first thing I'm gonna do is npx create NX workspace at latest. And since I am fan of monorepos, I will create an Angular monorepo. So what I'm gonna say here is Angular toaster. I'm gonna say here is Angular, that is an integrated monorepo. And the application name is gonna be the frontend application. By default, it's gonna call it as a frontend. And I'm gonna use ESBuild. So things work faster for me to build this stuff. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna use it. SCSS. I don't need server-side rendering. I don't need end-to-end testing at all for the moment. And I will skip NX Cloud. And we're going to install a local version of Angular with as an NX workspace, as an NX monorepo. Now we take our sweet time here and let's start to get ready. Let me see if it keeps a history of the commands that I execute. It will be nice. I wonder if it keeps the how do I check the history of my of PowerShell? Oh, I don't want that. Okay, nice. Nah, okay, is there a file? Okay, try. Let me see if this was copy. Let me go over here and let me try to get the list of commands because right now I want to get those don't get the path history. Oh, yes, yes, copy. Code the PowerShell history. Open this over here. Now I'm gonna say here nx generate. Now I have. What I want to do is instead using the UI instead using the UI for creating these components because I perceive I have some problems with the next component. I just gonna copy the commands. That is gonna be the easiest part. We're gonna say here, and let me see, Nx generate. What is the first one? Okay, I'm gonna say here, Control F2, or what if I use? Okay, let's see. Okay, hold on at the end. Oh, this doesn't keep the history of everything I have. Okay, never mind. Well, that's totally good. Okay, so I'm gonna say cut here and let's continue. Now that we have generated our workspace, gonna just get it inside of the Angular Toaster project we just created, and I'm gonna start to code from here. Okay. Now from here we have our typical NX workspace where we have our applications and we have the front-end application that we want. I have to stop the other one. Now that we are here, I'm gonna start to run the project. So I'm gonna open the terminal. I'm gonna start to run nxserve frontend. That is the name. That is the name of the application that we just created. And from here, I'm gonna run the command nxserve frontend because that's the name we give in the setup of nx. What is the name of the application? It's gonna be frontend. So we're gonna run frontend. Awesome. Now we are ready to see the application, so I can just go and see our front end. So this was before was the application. Now we have a welcoming page from NX. So let's start to understand what we need in order to achieve what we are looking for. So the first thing that we need to do is to make sure our Angular application accepts tailwinds. So what I'm gonna do is in my NX console. I'm just gonna to generate, and I'm gonna type here in the line of commands, tailwinds. So it's gonna say here NX Angular set of tailwinds, configure tailwind CSS for an application or buildable publishable library. So I'm gonna do click here. I'm going to, well, come on. I'm going to click here, and it's gonna ask me for the project that I want to use. That is gonna be frontend. After that, I can just generate the project. So pretty much what is saying around here is this gonna run this command, and this command is gonna run all the necessary updates and configurations that we're gonna use for the project. And in this case, we're gonna add to the front end a tailwinds config, and it's gonna add a src stats.css that is gonna to inject all the necessary tailwinds styling that we need for this project. So since we are using dry run here, it's not gonna be no use, so we had to generate. Okay, cut. And just like that, we just installed Tailwinds with no issues at all. So how the project is looking now that we have Tailwinds. So as you see here, now I have a Tailwinds configuration here. And this Tailwinds configuration is telling me that the configure okay. In this configuration, Tailwind is gonna listen to every single file that ends in TS and HTML, skip everything that is specs or stories, but include everything that is inside of the source folder. So, given this, now what we're gonna do is to verify if tailwinds exist or not. So, okay, so pause here. What I'm gonna do here is to verify that, yeah, I think the font changed. I had to verify the HTML file that we have to see if it is import. Oh, it is importing this now. Okay, so the style should be embedded in the project.json. So let's verify that. Nice. So we can explain that. Continue. Now let's see what happened at the project level. So we have in our source files, we know that we see now a modified style.css that is going to include the Tailwind styling based components and utilities. So that's good. But also we're going to see in our project.json that our style should be right here as front end styles.css. With that, now we can start to think on DaisyUI. So how do we inject DaisyUI? So now from this perspective, how do we inject DaisyUI? So we're gonna just close this terminal over here, and I'm gonna add a new developer dependency here. So let's observe here on package.json. Pretty much I have everything that I need, tailwinds, prepared post CSS. Unfortunately not at version 4, but I don't need to emphasize even that. Okay. So as you see here, we have our package.json with all the needed dependencies that we need, but we're gonna inject now the UI. So I'm gonna say here np I capital D the CUI at latest. So what I'm gonna do is to install the latest dependency. Ooh, what the hell? Okay, he is. Oh, that was an awful error. Okay, let me remove this. I don't want that to show up. Failed to remove some directories. Oh, is it because I am? Is it because I am building this? Okay, let me stop here. Let me clear here. And now I'm gonna to run npm. Oops, not there. Let me put this over here. I don't want anything to be looking like that. Okay, again, cut. From this perspective, now our package.json just include all the needed dependencies to run tailwinds inside of Angular for our project frontend, but we need to include the CUI. So what we're gonna do here is to run the following command: npm I-d the CUI. And as that, we added the CUI. Now we are running the version 4.9.0. Probably later on it's gonna be a higher version. Now that we have the CUI, let's see how it starts to look when we inject. Okay. Now that we have the CUI, we need to worry about the part of configuring the default theme so we can play with the CUI. So first thing is going to tailwindsconfig.js, And now we have to include that and include the respective plugin. In this case, DaisyUI. So we're going to say here, require DaisyUI. With that, we have DaisyUI pretty much on board, but we need to tell what themes to use. Now I'm going to say here, DaisyUI. And I'm going to say here, theme. Oh, themes. I'm going to say here, the one that we are looking is light. Okay. So we save this. And let's see what happened to the project. I'm gonna say here npm, and now this is gonna say here nx frontend, and now I have to check my older project configuration. Now let's see how the project looks like now that we inject the DaisyUI. So let's go over here, and pretty much there is not a significant change. However, we're gonna start to see something a bit different. Okay, I may need to step back for a moment because I need to ensure I can be able to. Oh, I have to take out that. Okay. So when I switch to the application, there is no significant change. However, if I put this into dark, now DaisyUI recognize the theme as a dark. So pretty much we have a DaisyUI with a dark theme on it. We're gonna switch back to light. Let's say here light, and we are working pretty much on the light theme. Now let's inject from DaisyUI another component that is gonna be the drawer. So let's see how the drawer works. So I'm gonna say here DaisyUI.com, and oh, I don't like the dark theme. Let's say light. I'm gonna say here components, and I'm gonna look here for the drawer. And the drawer, the main objective of drawer is to display a sidebar content that you can easily embed into your project. And what is going to help us is to create the initial container where we are going to put our application. So what we're going to do is to create such a component. Now is when things get interesting here. Gonna copy the command because I really don't want to rely too much in the NX console. Because last time that I run this NX component, I had to tell the name of the component. Let's gonna say it's gonna be the page wrapper component. Page page container. See, this is what I don't like. The current directory that doesn't exist under any project root. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is a bit frustrating. So I'm gonna say here page component, page container. Sorry. Jesus Christ, why is it so difficult? Look, name page container directory. Directory, the directory at which to create a component file when as provided will be the relative to the current working directory. Otherwise, will be relative to the workspace. Ah, this is a bit okay. So it's gonna be at the level of workspace. So I'm gonna say here src. I know. Uh, First place, where I'm running this. What is the PWD of this? I want to know. Yo, this is frustrating. And now this is what I wanna do, just for everyone's entertainment. Okay. Now I'm gonna just go here and run it here, and it's gonna tell me what it's gonna create. The current working directory doesn't exist under. Oh, okay. Please make sure to navigate to a location to provide a directory that exists under a project. Oh, I see. So if that's the case, I have to go into a project. I'm gonna say here, see the I may have to copy this over here. Let me copy this over here. I'm gonna say here. Let me see if it is true. See the apps. And I'm gonna say here frontend src app, right? Now let's see what happens if I run this here. Okay, so that I had to create right there, but the directory is gonna be components. Oh, I will hate really to do this over here, folks. To be honest, it should be able to. Oh, now it asks me to explore this. Okay. X. Ah, this feels so wrong. Okay, take number 2. Okay, I'm gonna say nothing happened here. You're gonna go here in the project. Gonna create a project in folder in app. Then I'm gonna call it components. And let's see if this does the trick. Gonna say here Nx generate. I'm gonna say here component, and the component is page page container directory page container. Sweet, exactly what we look for. Okay, I don't need to do that much. So what I'm gonna do is just to close this. Goodbye. I'm gonna say here goodbye over here. I'm gonna delete this over here. Yeah, I'm to recycling. I'm gonna clear this. And move over here. Ah, no, now we have to, I mentioned this. Let me see where I had to fold this, okay? Yeah, this is what we saw before, okay? Now, how we are gonna make the drawer work in our application? We have to create a page component that is gonna wrap the content of any page that we are building and use the wrapper to serve that kind of information. So let's start by switching over here. The first thing that I'm gonna do is to create a new terminal. No, not even the new terminal. So the first thing I'm gonna do is to switch to Visual Studio Code, go into the app component, go into the app folder, go into the app folder, and then I'm gonna create a new folder called components. In this component, oh wait, we can we can do sort of genius of this. Let me see. Well, I don't think that I'm gonna think that fast doing this. Okay, just give me a second, guys. I need to decide. I really need to decide if I need to push um, the page wrapper into its own consumption library. No, because this is unique for this component. So let's do that. I'm gonna extend the app folder. I'm gonna create a new folder on it called components. And inside of this component, we're gonna create the page container component. So I'm gonna say here, right click, and we're gonna say here Nx generate. I'm gonna say here component, generate angular component. And pretty much we're welcome by this screen here. And it is telling us in which directory we are. Right now we are in components. So there, what we're gonna generate right now is the page container component. So let's start with, let's give the name of the component, page container, directory, page container. And as I type this kind of stuff, you're gonna see here in the terminal that we are creating the required component. Once we are ready, we click generate. And pretty much it is there. Okay, so now I'm gonna pause here. Why in the hell I see an update nx.json? What it did? Oh, it's because it's adding parameters to the build process. Okay, project root to the tab test, yada yada yada. That was, I don't know what they changed, but pretty much we like that. Now let's continue. Now let's see how it is composed. src apps components. We have our page container here. Pretty much what we're gonna do is to put in the template how we're gonna present the information. So let's do that. First, I'm gonna go into this and copy this example, and I'm gonna paste it here. Word of advice, we are not gonna get anything right now because we didn't set up practically any page that can help us to render this page. So pretty much we are just creating the component, copying and pasting just to make it work. And for the drawer content, I'm just gonna place here or ng content. That is gonna help us to place any kind of code that we can wrap on it. So that's it. Let's save it. We aren't gonna see anything right now, but we have to change how the application is being served. We have routes.ts, and pretty much we don't have any routes at all. Now let me review here. Since we don't have any routes, the first thing that we have to do is to create a page. So let's create a new folder that we're gonna call pages. And inside of this page, we're gonna create a component that serves the index page. So I'm gonna say here index, new folder, index. Now I'm gonna say here Nx generate a component that is gonna be the the name of the component is the index page. So we have here now the index page component is almost ready to set up. We click on generate, and we have it ready now for us to play. So let's open the index page component.ts, and we're gonna do is just to wrap the content. But because this is a standalone model, mark as true, we need to import our page container component. Let's say here page container component. And with that, we can be able to go into the index page and include the required component. So I'm going to say here let's say app page container, and voila. So that's the first step. The second step is just to override the default behavior that we have in the app.ts to load this. So let's save this for a moment. Let me save this over here too as well. And now let's go in our app components.html. As you see here, we have our router outlet and we have the app nx welcome. So we're gonna take this down. And as I take it down, you're gonna see that the component is totally gone. We have no content at all. Okay, let me close this. We don't need this. Thank you, Maximilian. Okay, and as and if we check out back on the route on the okay, so I'm gonna undo this. And as you can observe here, we have the app nx welcome component that is the default one, and we have the router outlet. So the first thing I'm gonna do is to take out this down, and as I save it, now we have an empty page, which is intended because our router is empty. So now let's gonna route the index page to be serving in the default route. Mhm. For that, we need to set up our router. And as a first property, we're gonna say here path, that is the default one. And we're gonna say we're gonna do a lazy loading. So we're gonna say here load component. Okay, I need to use this one. And then we are gonna do a lazy loading. So we're gonna say here load component. Pretty much this help us to do what we need here. Oh no, why? No, this is module, just smart ass. Okay. Then what we're gonna do is to do a load. Blah. The next thing we're gonna do is to add a load component lazy, a lazy. Blah. Come on. The next thing I'm gonna do is to add a lazy loading by using load component. So we're gonna say here, I'm not gonna follow this. Oh, okay. So this pretty much load the component index page component. As I save it, in theory, now we should be able to see something. So let's go back. Now we have index page works and we have the open drawer. Nice. Now let's work into creating our service library for the toasts. That is the most important part of this tutorial. Okay, so oh no, Judge Judy, no. Oh, I have to mute this. I thought it was in anonymous mode. Okay, this is anonymous. Oh yeah, over here. Okay, okay. To kill this one, kill this one, and kill this one. Bye bye. So nice. So I don't have those weird notifications. Oh, okay. I know. So, my God, this is gonna be a pain. Ah, I forgot to remove the ticker. Okay, never mind. Never mind. We can just roll back almost everything because everything is buildable and easy to replicate right now. So let me take out the ticker and the chat. Man, that was a boomer. Okay. Um, let's see. I'm gonna say here, I'm just gonna revert a bunch of stuff. Okay, so step number one, go over here. So this is back to this. Nice. We don't need a page container. Gonna kill this. Yes, goodbye. We don't need the pages component right now. Move to recycling. Yes, continue. Oh, really? Yes, permanently delete that. We'll go back over here. Nice. So this should be the default one. Good. Okay. Okay. So let's start with I mean just man, I have to do the whole thing again. I don't mind, to be honest. I don't mind to redo this again. So let me go over here. Let me close this. And let me go in another PowerShell to do cd this. Let's say cd uh, yeah, this is remove item. What is this? Recurse force 04. Okay. So what I'm gonna do here is to create a new tab, close this one, and I'm gonna use this one as my reference. I'm gonna close this one. I need to close my Zoom. I need to close this. Nobody cares. This one and the calculator. I don't need it. I don't need my Winamp over here. I don't need this over here. And yeah, that's pretty much okay. So let's see here. CD yada yada clear. Okay. So from scratch. Okay. So I assume that we're gonna go back here and we say, okay, let's switch to VS Code and let's generate the project that is gonna create the Angular Toaster service. So allow me to create a new NX workspace. I'm gonna say here npx create NX workspace. I'm gonna say here yes. And I'm gonna call this as an Angular Toaster. Really? Really? Okay. I thought I say that you delete all of this. Okay. What I say here? I hope I didn't kill the right directory. Oh no, it is there. It's gonna block it. Okay, so we're gonna say here. Um, Pretty much I shouldn't have any other windows. I only have two. Okay, so let's clean up this again. I'm gonna say here. Move item Angular toaster. I'm gonna say here recurse force because it's being by another process. Ooh, let me see here. There should be something related. No, it's not even. I don't even know it's running that. Okay, let me see if this is. Oh no no no! What nobody's. I'm just gonna kill the chat. Never mind. Okay, this pretty much should be able to help me to remove it. No, why? By another process. What process? Oh crap. Okay, hold on. I know. PowerShell. PowerShell gonna say cd git projects Eric codes ls04. Okay, so I have to close this one and I have to close all my Visual Studio. I hope that I'm gonna say here uh, move item 04 course force, steal. I c- I that's the reason I was asking recurse and force to remove that item. So probably maybe need to also close my reference part. Let's see if that helps. Oh, really? Let's see if he's messing with my stuff. Yes. I wish it can. Someone can. Something can tell me what is making this to be locked. Maybe there should be a background process that I cannot see. What could it be? Uh, maybe it's Explorer. Uh, close all the windows. Yeah. Let me see if that helps. Uh, is it choo choo? Still. Oh, what the heck? Okay. Oh, okay. So, no way. No way. What I did. Control Z. Oof. I almost killed myself. Oh, oof. There is nothing here. So for what reason you are not letting me delete you? Hmm? This is inconceivable. There should be something that is really nagging me around this. And there should be something in the background service that runs probably in X, but oh man, okay. I hope it's not the search. Okay. Service, what service? Come service, nothing. Synergy, nothing. No. Looking in the processes. Mm, okay, so I have to go Stack Overflow. uh, how to check what process if blocking is looking a file or folder. That doesn't give me any answer. So I'm gonna say here, oh, okay. So let's see if this works. Control R, I'm gonna say here, uh, process. Of course not. I have to download this little thing. And I'm gonna say here, extract to, and what is it? Display files to explore. Yeah, there you go. So let's go into Prosec, and I say agree, and there should be something called what? What did you say? Find, handle or DLL, and then I'm gonna say here what? Oh, Wait, so I'm gonna say here the folder that I'm blocking that is uh, Angular. Oh wow, there is a bunch of stuff. So I'm gonna kill Explorer. Oh, so I had to kill Explorer. Okay, so that seems that I'm gonna for real kill Explorer. Okay, Explorer kill process 3. Yes. I'm gonna say here Explorer in the task manager to restart the process. Windows Explorer restart. Well, I expected something more. Okay, now I should be free in theory. Now let's go to PowerShell. Oh, concha tu madre. Seriously? Mm. Oh God, I cannot believe this. Okay, CD 04. This CD. Let me see. Is there anything here? Okay, CD. Uh, I don't understand what it is using it. Oh, cloth handles. Okay, let me try again that. Um, what is that? Uh-huh. I guess I put it in the desktop. Oh, maybe because it has 64-bit stuff. Let me see. Fine. I'm gonna say here 04. Oh no. Nope. Cancel. Uh, there should be something that is locking my folder. This this is annoying. I don't want to create another folder for everything. I don't want to. Oh, this is gonna take forever. Oh, gun host file. Ah, you son of a gun. And now I wanna say here what? Gun host. So I had to end this process. So there are two processes holding this. Uh, kill process. Yes. And kill process. Yes. Kill process. Let me kill this one here. Yes. How the access is denied? Let me refresh. Okay. So I guess pretty much that's it. Can I be free? I really restart all this stuff. Okay. And I don't think I have anything else. Oh, Lock Hunter. It's another one. Uh, yeah, Lock Hunter is easy peasy. Let me see if I have that as More apps are canceled. I pretty much I think I have Lock Hunter for portable apps. Let me see. Okay, L leave lock please lost cut. Okay, so that means that I have to download this. Download now and open it. Save as. Huh? No, that I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Save as downloads. Oh, no, here downloads. Okay. Let me see if there is a lock hunters. Yeah. Let me see. Let me look here. Lock hunter portable. Let me see. Oh yeah, it is here. It is there. Oh, that file doesn't exist. Oh, so that means that I have to for real run the setup. Okay, boomer. Hmm. Now let's see what's going on with this folder. You have sure me 20 minutes. Uh, program. What is this? Project codes 04. What's going on with you? Show more options. I'm gonna say here. What is locking this file? Delete it. Oh, finally, I am done with this? Yes. Okay, let's go. I care no more about you. Okay, so let's close the stuff and let's do the whole thing again. Okay. Okay, this is the one of the worst tries of my of my recording so far. Okay, it's Ctrl Shift N. Let's open Visual Studio here, and let me go over my directory. I'm gonna see, there you go. MK there 04. Okay, okay. So again, let's go back, way back in time. So what I'm gonna do is to open Visual Studio Code and see what I'm gonna do is to open Visual Studio Code and start to work in the project. So first things first, let's switch here to VS Code. And the first thing I'm gonna do is to create a NX workspace. I'm going to say here npx create NX workspace at latest. and we're gonna create an Angular monorepo. I'm gonna say here the name of the workspace is gonna be Angular toaster. Let's say here this is gonna be an Angular project. It's gonna be an integrated monorepo. I'm gonna say here the full application is gonna be the Angular application itself. So we're gonna call her frontend. I'm gonna use ESBuild. I'm gonna use SCSS. We are not going to use server-side rendering. We are not going to use end-to-end testing. And we're going to keep NX Cloud for the moment. So would you like to remote caching to make the delivery faster? No. Just skip for now. We don't really use caching. And now we wait. Oh man, it was frustrating. Okay. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I pretty much forgot this. What is this? Ah, come on. I don't want Copilot Windows stuff. Go off. Yeah. Goodbye. I hope I don't have anything else that can leave me open to. Okay, nice. Use open what is needed. Okay, now we are ready to go into our project. I'm going to say here, cd Angular toaster. I'm going to say here, code here. And now we are ready to run our project. So the first thing that we need to do is to ensure that our frontend project has first tailwinds. So the first thing we're gonna do here is in my NX console, I'm gonna say here generate, and I'm looking to type in tailwinds, set up tailwind, and it's gonna tell me what is the project that I want to configure. By default, I'm gonna pick up frontend because it's the only project that I have at the moment. I'm gonna say here generate. Nice. So as you may see here in apps, we have a tailwind config, and pretty much is the default one. What it's telling me here, for those who doesn't know, is tailwind is gonna look inside of the source folder, all the files except any files that has stories or spec in the name, but take any other file that has extension TS and HTML. So pretty much what we're gonna do is just to ensure that we have tailwinds properly included into our project. And what I'm gonna do here is gonna kill these two terminals. I'm gonna say here npm. No, I'm gonna say here nx serve frontend. And now the project is being served. As we see here, it is running the port localhost 4200. So we're gonna load over here. And there we go. We have the default page of NX. Now let's include DaisyUI into this sum of dependencies that we have here. So first thing is gonna open a new terminal here, and I'm gonna type npm i dash d DaisyUI. Okay. And there you go. So we can verify that in our package.json, and the DaisyUI should be in our list of development dependencies right here. So now we have to configure Tailwinds to accept the DaisyUI. So first thing we're gonna do is go into Tailwinds config, and we have to include the plugin. So I'm gonna say here is require the DaisyUI, and we have to set up the configuration for the DaisyUI. Inside of this configuration, we're gonna write themes, and inside of these themes, we're gonna include the dark color. So let's see if it changed the appearance of our default page, and effectively it changed to black. So if I wanted to use the light color, that is the one that show up in the example at the beginning of this video. So pretty much we are back to the light color. Perfect. Now let's worry about what we may need from here. So first part is I'm going to look into the source folder. I'm going to start to create two folders. One is the components folder, and another one is the page folder, or pages folder. Yeah, pages. Next, I'm gonna go into our index.html. Pretty much everything looks fine so far, so good. But we need to look into the app component. The app component is going to include the default Nx welcome along with a router that for the moment is empty. So let's clear up that. And the first thing that I want to do is to go into the DaisyUI website. As you see now, the content is gone. It's totally blank since I saved this. We can see the change that happened here. So what I'm going to do is to create the page component and the index page component. So in components, I'm gonna create something called, and I'm gonna create a new component, and this new component is gonna be called the page. I should call it the page wrapper component. Yeah, let's call it the page wrapper. So here, page wrapper, and pretty much it's gonna generate, instead of components, it's gonna be a folder called page wrapper with page wrapper component.tss. It's gonna update something in Nx JSON. I don't know what it could be, but this is not the focus right now. So for the moment, we want to generate this component that is gonna create a wrapper for us, and we're gonna create uh, the respective page. As you see here, the page wrapper component is there. And now what we're gonna do is to include, okay, I did a mistake here. Okay, so close here. Yes. I'm gonna say here delete, and we are here. So let me turn the UI. Now I have to focus my attention in the app folder. In the app folder, we're gonna create a component, two folders. In the app component, we're going to create two folders. So I'm gonna say here new folder. I'm gonna call it component, and another one that is gonna be pages. The page is gonna be wrapped by a component. that is gonna use the following. So first, let's understand what the page wrapper component should have. So I'm gonna go into DaisyUI, and in DaisyUI, I'm gonna look for the drawer component. The objective of have the drawer component is when you click here, it's gonna display a sidebar. You can close it as well. So pretty much that's what we want to do. So I'm gonna copy the HTML that I have here for the moment, and let's start by creating our page wrapper component. So I'm gonna say here Nx generate, and I'm gonna create an Angular component that I'm gonna call page wrapper. That's gonna stay inside of the page wrapper component. Page wrapper. Good. Now we can create the page wrapper component, and let's say generate. And effectively, we have the page wrapper component right here. And the HTML that we just copied is gonna be over here. Just paste it here. And right here where it says raw content, we're gonna place the page content here. So I'm gonna put here an ng content. Pretty much so far so good. So any page that is gonna include this page wrapper can have access to it. So So the next part is to understand what happened with the app component. The app component by default is running the app NX welcome. That is the component that gives us the welcome to NX. If I delete this part, our page is gonna be blank. That is the intention. Totally okay with that, because now we have to add the respective page. Now our page is gonna say here NX generate. I want to ensure that I'm clicking the right thing. Okay. Let's say here component. I'm gonna call the index page. Let's say here index page. Nice. Let's generate it. And what I'm gonna do inside of the index page component, the HTML, is before of that, because we are using a standalone component. So how can we bring our page wrapper component into this one? We just import it. So I'm gonna say here a page wrapper component. And just like that, I can be able to declare the required components. In this case, I'm gonna say page app page wrapper. Nice. Inside of this, we wrap the index page works. We save this. And now we're gonna focus our attention in the router, because the routes are empty. We don't have anything so far. So what I'm gonna do is to do a lazy loading to the page, to the index page component by using a load component. So I'm gonna say here the default path is path gonna be like this. Oops. And I'm gonna say here load component. I'm gonna say here this. If everything works fine, now we have index page works and we have the open drawer. Nice. So pretty much we have everything that we need to start to work now in the positioning of the toasters. So if we go back to tailwinds and we go to toast, where the hell are the toast? Here. In toast, we have different positions that we can use. We have 9 positions for us to use. And the idea is that we are going to use these 9 positions to generate toasters in the desired area of the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to generate a library. Because why not? This can be shared across multiple applications that I have in the front end, not only the main one. So what I'm going to start to do is to create a library. So to start, I'm going to create a new folder in the root of my workspace called libs. And I'm going to generate a new Angular library that I'm going to call toaster. And it's giving me all the necessary structure that I need for me to run this project. So I have this toaster, the name of the component, etc., and the default specification. So I'm going to say click here on generate. Oh, nope, 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 nope. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to start from the beginning. Now, what I'm going to do is to ensure, oh, this should be here. Now, what I'm going to do is to ensure that I will create such a library. So let's go over here. I'm going to say here, let's create a new folder that is going to call libs. And inside of these libs, I'm going to run a next generate that is going to be a library. And I'm going to call it a toaster is the name of my library. And the directory is gonna be, oops, uh, I had to deflate myself onto this. Damn it. Okay. Maybe here. You have already a library using the import Angular. Oh, it's because in the imports. Yes. Here. So I'm gonna remove this. Okay. Good thing to take notes. Let me revert the. What is this? Uh, Package. Yes. Let me revert this one. Discard changes. And pretty much I should going back to the default settings. Nice. Let me remove this over here. Now I'm gonna focus my attention in generating the library. So I'm gonna create a new folder. Oh, no new file, sorry. New folder. Okay, sorry about that. Now let's focus our attention into creating the library for or Angular or now let's create the library that we're gonna use for this project. That is gonna be the toaster service. So I'm gonna say here, new folder. I'm gonna call it libs. And inside of libs, I'm going to right click and Nx generate. I'm gonna say here a library. And the library is gonna be called toaster. and the directory inside of the library is gonna be called toaster. Oh well, it's giving already automatically the name. So what I'm gonna do is if we want to give a cool name to or import, you can give something custom, but at the moment you create this, it's gonna update the tsconfig base.json and let's see what happened. So I'm gonna say here generate, and we have our toaster library inside of libs. Nice. If we observe here in tsconfig, we already have Angular toaster slash toaster, so we can include the dependency across multiple projects. So let's start with that. Let's close this file. And the first thing that I'm gonna ensure is that my project is still running. If I go to the front end, nice, it's still working. Now let's worry about the part that will include the toaster, the toaster component. So for this, okay, so I had to take a pause here. Mhm. So we're gonna create two things inside of our toaster library. The first one, okay, the first one is the toast itself, and another is the container that is gonna place all the positions. So what I'm gonna do is to start to create such components. I'm going into src, and in lib, there is already a component called toaster, but we really don't need to work on that right now. I'm just gonna create a separate component that is gonna, oh, no, no, no. Now that we have our toaster component generated, if we observe, we have our toaster, but we just only need to export two components. One is gonna be the toast itself, another is the toast container that is gonna place 9 positions on the screen where we can just apply the toast wherever we need it. So let's start with that. First thing is gonna remove this toaster. I'm gonna say here goodbye. Yes, thank you. And our index, of course, is not gonna throw anything because we don't have anything yet. So inside of the lib, we're gonna create a new component that is gonna be a toast, the toast container. Oh, what is happening here? File to create, see errors above. Oh, what? Okay, that's weird. Okay, let me try to close this again because probably it's the same kind of error we faced last time. So this only happened with libraries. It's a good thing that it's happening right now because I want to retouch this. Let's see. Nx generate a library, a component, and this component is gonna be the toast container. Yeah, toast container. This is what I was telling you. Toast container. So if it is a library, apparently there is some issue here with Nx, and what I'm gonna do is just to copy the command line, and I'm just gonna let me see if I have. Yeah, this is in the list of commands that I have for as a backup. Oh, Now let's see if I run this in the terminal. I'm gonna say here, oh, it has to be in the library. Oh, I'm gonna say here, directory. Oh, crap. Okay. It looks like a, why it is doing that? Let me see. Yeah, it is just really not accepting it at all. Oh, this is the library and the component what? Oh, do don't do that to me. Lib toaster src lib toaster container. Fail to create dependency. See errors above. Executing task. What? Verbose. Let me see. Let me copy this. Right, run. Fail to create the dependencies. Verbose. Of course. Oh, okay. The project graph? Okay, guys. I don't know in Nx if you can see this, but okay. Hold my horse for a moment. Okay. Dry run. Name does contain in the directory this one. Go. I am amazed why this is not working. Let me see. I will take the format as provided. Oh, gee, really? Uh, as provided. Derived. This is, oh, okay. Okay, let me see if by removing this that works. Okay. Okay. I give up with this one. I'm not so sure why is it doing that. It should. I just created from here. And is it pointed to the lip toaster? It's actually lip. So what's going on with this? I have no idea. As provided, nothing, and still nothing. Come on, guys. I wish that you guys have a verbose option here. Would be nice. Have a verbose option here, so if we run into problems, we can see what is the problem. Okay, so I'm gonna give up into this one. And for some magical reason, I have to explain now here what's going on here. Okay, clear. Okay. Let's see if this works at the level of just creating an Angular component right here. Okay, well, no, if it work, if it is the executor of Angular, the schematic is gonna be fine. Now that we have our toaster created, well, Now that you have the toaster created, what I'm gonna do is to ensure that in the lib folder, previously I deleted a file that is the default toaster component that was supposed to be exported in this index.ts. So it was called toaster component. I clean up that directory, but what we're gonna do here is to use the schematics of Angular. For some reason, the NX Angular component doesn't work very well in components, so I'm gonna use the schematic of Angular to create the component I want. In this case, the wait, I have chicken memory. Okay, in the and oh, okay, so NX generate. I'm gonna say here component. I'm gonna pick up schematic of Angular component, and the first thing I'm gonna create is the toast itself, and it's gonna have no project at all, just generate. What's going on? Ah. Okay, what's going on, NX? Oh, NX, why? Why? You, I am speechless. This is the first time that this happens. Oh God, come on. I want to finish this video soon. Maybe. Okay, let me try to do this. I'm gonna close this, and I'm gonna close this, and I'm going to delete the lib folder, delete, and what I'm gonna do is just to ensure that in Nx I don't have any other library over here, and that I don't have anything in the tsconfig that is gonna slap me on the face later on. What is telling me? Ah, okay. I don't think I have anything that is called toaster. Uh-huh. Toaster source. Okay, so nothing. We are clear. Okay, so let's start to work on this. Oh, let me see if by okay, project is fine. So let's create. Now that we have a different index page component, let's focus in how this is gonna look. But we need still to create a library that is gonna import all that we need. If we recall, everything working is fine. So let's create the library that we need. So what I do here is first checking in X console your projects, pretty much very cool. So I'm gonna say here, I'm gonna create a library that is gonna be toaster library, and the directory is gonna, since if I don't write a name right now, let's say here libs slash toaster, as we see here, we want to include this library to be exported by default in its own directory. And we get here libs toaster with all the things that we need to build this tool, this library. So we're gonna click on generate, and we have toaster. Pretty good. Now, what I intend to do is to verify. Now, what I intend to do is to create a couple of components. So by default, this is the default structure that we have. It says toaster works and pretty much everything that we want for this toaster to be named. So what I'm gonna do is just to delete it. See here, let me delete it. Yep. And let's change this since there is no more this component, and we're gonna generate the toaster itself and the toast. We're gonna generate. We're now to we are we are going now to generate the toast itself, and then the component that holds all the toast and the service that we're gonna use to identify and set the signal that the toast is ready to be shown in certain position. So let's start by doing right click here, Nx generate. I'm gonna say here component, but it has to be in the schematic of Angular. And I'm gonna give a name. For the default project is gonna be toaster. That is identifying my library as the toaster. I'm gonna say here toast component, and we're gonna give a name. I'm gonna say here is an SSS, and we're gonna change the prefix to be the selector. Sorry, the selector. We're gonna change the selector to be toast, and pretty much it should let us create the component. I hope I don't have to include the path to which to create a component file relative to the current workspace. What is wrong with this? What is the path? I don't understand why this is adamantly just not let me do anything. Let's see, let's try an X. And generate a component that should be toast component in the directory toast component. Man, I am giving up on this. Why? Why is so difficult? Uh, man. Okay. Good thing that I'm gonna copy this row so the guys on NX has an idea what's going on. This is a hassle. I don't understand. It's so far the worst I have been working with NX. I don't complain. I love the tool. I am the latest version. Uh, yep. What's going on here? I will hate to do that. Oh, hold on. Maybe I can do something that it may work. And it's just to copy from my history. Hmm. Let me see if this has something to do. Fail to create dependencies. I have no idea what is going on with this. Oh wow. I say that this is as provided. It shouldn't have anything. If it is null, cannot have name and directory as provided. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna copy this and create a new folder. I'm gonna see cd this. Oh, what? src. Oh, of course. Oh, it could be that this slash is to blame. Is this slash the one that is making me suffer like a? Hold on. As provided. And if I go here, post component, this is absolutely ridiculous. Why? Why is it doing this? I really want to love NX, but why is it generating? It's so difficult. Why? I cannot understand. I'm gonna say here this. I'm gonna say try run. Let me see. Uh, what is this? Toaster? Is what it is called? Oh, and this breaks. Why? What did I did to you? I did nothing wrong to you. We couldn't find any projects in this workspace, but I didn't change anything. Why is so difficult? I cannot. Okay, maybe it's a skill issue. Let's take a holistic approach to this to see what happened to our project. NxJSON to see what happened here. And let's look for anything that says toaster here. Oh, maybe it's because it's trying to do export once equal test equals to 1. Yeah, maybe that fixes that. Oh, this is obnoxious. Mm. Reload window. Okay, let's start from here since I reload the window. Okay, Nx generate a component, and I'm gonna call this toast. Uh, toast container. Okay, for whatever reason, I really don't know. I have to pick up from here in the projects for me to add the thing I really need. Okay, that was gracious. Okay, so why don't I continue this tutorial? Okay, fine, fine, fine here. Let's see, close here. Try it run. Squad's gonna slap me in the face. What in the? No way. Okay, I was running the exact same command in the exact same folder, and in one fails and the next it works. Like, okay, why? I have no idea what is going on here. Okay, okay. Good thing I just recorded this for posterity. PWD. Fine. Okay, clear. You guys gonna check out this on the next. Okay. Oh, come on. Oh, Jesus Lord. Come on. Nice. Now let's focus our attention into creating the library. We need to create a service. We need to create the toaster container that's gonna hold all the toast, and the toast itself that is gonna serve as a template for all the kind of toast we wanna generate. So let's start by switching in Nx. Since we already have a toaster service, uh, since we already have a toaster component, well, oh, come on. Since we already have a toaster library, we're gonna go into NX. I'm gonna say here toaster. I'm gonna say here right click, NX generate. I'm gonna say here component, and I'm gonna first to create the toaster wrapper. And we have to fix the directory since it is putting in a place that we don't want. So we have to put that component inside of toaster src lib toaster. Lib toaster src lib toaster wrapper. Nice. So let's generate that one. We're gonna create a toast. So far, so we have the toaster, the toast, the toaster wrapper, and we will create a new service. New folder going to be the service. And we're going to say here, this is a new file. We're going to say here, toaster service.ts. Okay, so let's focus our attention in the toaster component. So the toaster component is going to be the default template that we're going to use for our toast. So pretty much what I'm going to do is just to copy from template I already prepared. And what I do is just to copy this. So pretty much what I'm going to do is tell what is the kind of alert. Oh yeah. So by default, okay, so let me go back. And I'm going to paste the components I have here. So from DaisyUI, we have the alert appearance, and we have different appearances here, but we didn't have types or messages. So let's generate those. And what I'm going to do is inside of these toast components, I'm going to generate the logic for this component. And we're going to have two inputs. One is type, another is message. Let's say here input. The message is a string, by default is null, is empty. And I'm gonna have an input that is type. But type could be many things. For the moment, info is gonna be the default one, but we have to export the component in the way we need it. So I'm gonna change the selector for something like toast. And I'm gonna export a type that is gonna help me to identify the right states that it has. So let's start by having this as a export type toast type. I'm gonna say here info success and error, and I'm gonna say here the type should match toast type. So far so good. This should. Oh, and warning. I forgot warning. Nice. So now we have all the things that we needed to run a basic toast. The basic toast where I'm just copying it exactly as this shows in the CUI. So you see, gonna say issues here and alert success. Depending on what happens, gonna be alert and adding additional logic to this. This is gonna pass this information to this one. We don't need ng class because we are in Angular 17 and we now identify different classes like this. Very similar to React in a way if you use the class names uh, in, a tool that merges like so we have our alert component from so we have our alert class from Tailwinds. Oh no, it's DaisyUI. we have now our alert class from DaisyUI along with all the required info, warning, errors, and success. So very similar on what we see here. The only difference is gonna be depending on what we pass to the component, is gonna display that required information. So this is part one. Part two is gonna be the toaster itself. The wrapper. Part two is gonna be the toaster wrapper. So the toaster wrapper is an area that we're gonna put on the screen where toast gonna show up. So for that purpose, we're gonna place this HTML that I had prepared, and let's go over here, and I'm gonna explain what is going on with this toaster wrapper. The toaster wrapper contains all the sections that we need to assign the positions, and we have the required positions: toast 1, toast 2, toast 3, toast 4, up to 9. And each one occupies a specified space. As we push data through the service, the this component is gonna take the data and push the required toast to the respective container. If I click in the top right side of the screen, the button that triggers that action to the top right of the screen, the toast should be showing over that place. So now it's time to check the toaster wrapper component by itself. I need to close this. Come on, collapse. Nice. The first thing that now that we understand all of these 9 positions that I had described previously is now we have to generate the respective 9 reference to each position. So I'm gonna start to create the required imports. So I'm gonna say here I had to import the toast. Oh no, we don't need to import the toast. So we say here because it's a reference to a container. This is a container. So I have to reference each container separately in order for us to work this properly. So I'm going to say here view child. I'm going to say here toast 1. And we give properties to be read as a view container ref. So we're going to call it toast1 as a view container ref. And we are going to do so on. So I'm gonna say this is because we don't have a constructor, we have to use exclamation mark. So I'm gonna say here the same as a toast2. Oops. Toast3, toast4, toast5, toast6, toast7, toast8, and toast9. Nice. Now what we're gonna do is to ensure that we can be able to pass certain kind of information to the toast. So So, yeah. So what is happening here? Even before we take, now that we define these containers, we have to define the service that's going to pass the information. So I'm gonna jump into the part to create the service. And I'm going to start to define a couple things here. Let's start to say a type that is the horizontal position. And this horizontal position is gonna be left, center, or right. And vertical position is gonna be top, middle, bottom. Now we can export to have a sense of where we're gonna put our toes. We're gonna export a type that is gonna be the combination of these two. I'm gonna say here export type string toast position. That is gonna be a template string for a type that is horizontal position and vertical position. Voila. Now, let's suppose that we are sending to the toast what type it is, and what is the position, and what is the type. So we have message, type, and position. So let's create an interface that does precisely that. So I'm going to say here interface toast message. So the type, it should be something that we're going to import from toast type. And toast type is going to tell us what kind it is. It's info, success, error, warning. Pretty much. So far, so good. Now that we have defined this, let's create our injectable. And this injectable is going to be provided in root because it's a service. And I'm going to say here export class toaster service. And inside of this toaster service, we are going to export the needed data that I want to interact with. So pretty much I have to create a behavior subject that is gonna connect with the required data that I need. So first of all, I'm gonna say here a public toast message. Oops, sorry. Oh, actually, let me disable this. Disable completions. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna say here public toast message. Message is equals to a new behavior subject. Gonna say here the type that we are expecting is a toast message, and we're gonna default as empty as toast message. With that say, now we can start to generate a subscription. We're gonna say here public. I'm gonna say here, yeah, toast subscription. Well, and this subscription is gonna be a this.toastMessage dot as observable. In that way, you can hook up data to that one. Now, the most important part here is that we have to ensure that there is a method that help us to display the toast. So what I'm gonna do now is to generate such a method. I'm gonna say here public display toast with toast data having the shape of our toast message. And in this case, we're gonna say here const this as toast data, and toast data we know we have message, type, and position. That's it. Now we can say this dot toast message dot next, because now we have to pass this as a part of the state of such a toast. I'm gonna say here message. I'm gonna say here type and position. Nice. So now we have a service that can help us to push data. Depending on what I receive through the subscription, I can be able to put the respective toast in the respective slot. So let's save this around here. Let's go back. Let me see if I had to save this one over here. Let's go back to our toast component because now that's the one that needs a bit more of attention. So right now toast is okay. We don't need okay. So the first thing that we need to do, okay, so stop this. Now that we have completed this, the next part is to ensure that the messages that the toaster container uh, receives through the service places the respective toaster in the respective position. So let's go. Okay, yeah, the toaster container. Let's go. So let's start now to work in our toaster wrapper. The toaster wrapper is probably the most complex piece of this part of the application. Now that we have reference to every single, now that we have every single reference to every single slot, the next thing is to ensure that we first inject the service, listen to the messages, and place the component in the respective position. So let's start. So this should happen on load. So because there is no constructor here, we have two options: or we run the constructor, or when the component is mounted, we start to listen. So it's why that we use implement on init, and I'm gonna say here ng on init. And the first thing I'm gonna start to listen is to a service. We need to import the service. So I'm gonna say here private toast service is equals to inject toast service. There you go. So now we have access to the toast service. And now I can say this dot toast service. And I say here a toast subscription. And I'm gonna start to clean up information before ensuring that doesn't push anything out of the normal. I'm gonna say here pipe. And the first thing I'm gonna do is to filter. What I'm gonna do in this filter, pass any message that messages are not empty. So I'm gonna say here, I'm gonna say here the value that I'm gonna pass as a callback. Uh, no, that's a callback. This is our function to filter. I'm gonna return if the message is empty or not. So I'm gonna say here, because value by itself is part of this shape that we declared before. For toast subscription, if we go to subscription, we have an observable that is toast message. So value is a toast message. I'm gonna say here return value. We have to ensure that it has a member at least message as on property message. Do not access determines whether okay. No prototype built-ins. Okay, so I'm gonna say here. I'm going to say here return object keys value length equals 3 because that's what you're expecting to receive, and value dot message is different than null. Okay, not null, just empty. With that, we're gonna pass a second thing that is we want if in the event that our page changes, we want that to be destroyed. This service can be destroyed in case we had to switch pages. We don't want things blowing up. So the first thing I'm gonna do is to declare a public that is gonna be a destroy ref. It's gonna say here inject. I'm gonna say here destroy ref. Nice. And I'm going to say here, let's see if it takes take until destroyed. Okay, so if we cannot get that, so we're gonna have to get that over here. I'm going to import this from Angular core Rx interop. I'm gonna say here import what I was to import. Take until destroy. Nice. Now I have take until destroy. I'm gonna say here take until destroyed this destroy ref. And with that, it's telling us that as soon as it detects that the component is being destroyed, destroy that reference of this component. And now we subscribe. And subscribe receives two things. Well, for the moment, we're gonna just take next. I didn't say anything else about an error. Could be totally possible there are errors here. So I'm gonna say here next. I'm gonna say here data. Yep. And why it looks like that? That is telling me unexpected empty method. Yeah. So I'm gonna say here we're gonna take the reference of the container ref as an empty one. So here let container ref is equals to view container ref. Well, not equals, because every single component over here has to have a way for me to identify, depending on the context of what I'm receiving in the message, it's gonna tell me in which position I want to use. But because I'm using many of these, I can be able just to declare the one that I need. So what I say here is I'm going to switch post message dot position, and that's it. When I start to do all the 9 cases, case top left. If you don't remember this, oh, hold on, this doesn't look like a center button. No, this I think I messed up the type. Hold on, let's go to position. The position type is a screen toss position, and does that recall that thing? Let me see. Oh yeah, first is vertical. My bad. Vertical position or horizontal position. So that matches what we have in our wrapper here. Our wrapper should match the right position accordingly to whatever I set up here based on this. Okay. So each one has already set up the position. And what I do here is to start to work into setting up each single position. I'm going to say here now top, left. I'm going to say here it should be the respective part one. Yes. So in the case of top left, the container ref should be this toast one. I'm gonna say here break. Now I'm gonna say here for all the other positions that we have. So we're gonna say here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're gonna say here top center, top right. I'm gonna say here middle, left, middle, center. I'm gonna say here middle, right. Gonna say here for the remaining three is gonna be bottom. Gonna say here left, center, right. Nice. I'm gonna say here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why do I think that I miss? Okay. Oh, of course. 1, 2, 3. There you go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 positions. 9. Nice. Should I add the default one? Uh, Probably. Yeah, the default one should be the bottom right. Okay, so now let's give a purpose to this container ref. So let me collapse this to make it easier to read for over here. Now that we define the container ref, it's important to identify the toast itself. We're going to say here const toast is equals to a container ref create component. I'm going to say here a toast component. The toast component has properties. We're going to say here, we're going to set up every single instance here. We're going to say here toast instance. We have message and type. I'm going to say here, I'm going to say here toast message, nice. Toast instance type is equals to toast message type. Now that we resolve that, we can give a timeout to this. I'm gonna say here set timeout. I'm gonna say here there are many ways that you can decide what to do with this, but for the sake of this exercise, all the toast is gonna disappear after 3,000 seconds, and I'm gonna say here toast destroy. And that pretty much ends the toast wrapper component. We're gonna change this to toaster wrapper. Of course, it marks red because you need to use certain kebab indentation, etc., for you to generate the names in Angular. My way to handle is I just generate this for me to generate it. If I were to in the future, hypothetically speaking, I like to make agnostic components that use the same name as you were using in React. So probably this is my personal approach. Don't take it much to the heart, but this is how I will call this here. Okay, so that's it. Now it's time to export each single thing here. So in our index, I'm going to say here, export everything from lib service, toaster service. Now export this from lib toast component, and export everything from lib toaster wrapper component. Now with this, now we can be able to inject the information inside of our page component. Again, our page component is still working here. The only thing is we're gonna add to this menu all the positions, and as we do click, we are gonna generate the respective toasts. So let's go back inside of our page wrapper component, and let's start to code here. To start, what we're gonna do is to inject our toaster service. I'm gonna say here toaster, or what I'm gonna call it toaster service equals to inject toaster service. Oh, hold on. Why it is not including it? I thought it's gonna include everything here. No, it's not included. So you had to do this over here. So to include the service, I have to ensure. Oh no, hold on, this was not here. To include everything that we need, I have to import the toaster service from our application. So I'm gonna say here, import from Angular. Oh, I'm gonna say here, toaster. From Angular toaster, I want to import the screen toast position. I need to import. Oh well, let's leave it from here because I do think that it's gonna automatically pick up what I need. So let's see if this works. Otherwise, it's just gonna work all the way around. So private toaster service is equals to inject. Let's inject this one. Let's say here toaster service. Nice. Now I can see it. So what I do here is just to run the toast. And I need to know position, message, and type. So let's start by defining in the toast what I need. What I say here, position is equals to screen toast position. I need a message that is a string, and I need a type. And we're gonna set default one. Set a default type. Type that is a toast type. And by default is gonna be info. Nice. Now we're gonna say here this toaster service. We're gonna run a display toast based on the information that we set up. So we have position, we have message, and we have type. That's pretty much. It doesn't require that that much information. However, we need to import additional two components to this standalone component. By itself, it's not going to show us, even if we go here, even if we declare it, the code that we need to import the required toaster is not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the toast component and the toaster and the toast component, toast wrapper component. Oh, should I do that? No, I'm just importing the toast component. That's pretty much. So let's start to work on how the front end is gonna look like. Oh yeah, we need the toaster wrapper component. Now let's look how the front end is gonna look. And what we need to do here is to add the respective uh, toaster wrapper. And pretty much dynamically is gonna inject the required toaster. So pretty much we already have this here. I don't expect to see errors on the front end. If we inspect the source code, or if we inspect the application itself, we are gonna see that there is a toaster wrapper right now here. The toaster wrapper contains every single part that we want to include toasters. And now our objective is just to fill that page with the required toasters. Okay, so let's start with that. And what I'm gonna do is just to copy part of the code that I have working, just to save some time. And what I'm gonna do is just to copy all of this out of here. Mhm. So beforehand, I already prepared this piece of code that is gonna give out all the positions that we are gonna cover in this exercise. And if everything works fine, we should be able to see some tasks happening here. Okay, I suppose that I may need to include something that is missing the style. So more likely what I have to do is to include the path or include the Tailwind part for this library. Hmm. For what reason I don't have the class that they have? Let me see. Let me see the project. Yeah, the project doesn't include anything. As I'm reading here, it doesn't seem that it has anything that can help us to do that. But on the Daisy and this toaster, apparently everything runs fine. Wonder what could be different. Oh, hold on. Let me debug this for a bit. So our toast wrapper component is calling this thing to display the toast. Ah, that is the wrapper that tells me how long I have to do this. I'm gonna just put this as a 30 seconds for me to identify what's going on. So, oh, the class is not even set up. Alert info. So what it may happen is that I may have to include the source code of the library inside of my uh, my code. So I'm gonna say here in the not in the styles, in the tailwind config. It is telling me join dir name. I'm gonna say here I'm gonna include I'm gonna include so oh, I can just go into yeah, I have to go back to the root of the application. Uh, how do I get the root of the application? Let me see the next documentation. Nx get workspace directory. Oh, let's talk to the AI. How do I get the workspace directory? Nope, I don't want to do that. There should be a way that tells the schematic from the schematic what is my project root. Otherwise, I'm just gonna try to run this. So I'm in application, then I am now in the folder. I'm gonna say here, gonna say here, libs. Gonna say here, oh, in libs. Libs. I'm gonna say here, toaster. And from here, you include everything that you need to bring this. Let's see if this makes the build. Hopefully, what may happen is I may have to restart the project. Yep. So what I'm gonna do is just to quit here and run the front end, and hopefully this modifies the path. Let me see. There you go. So now I can push as many toes as I want, but now I had to reset the time. Okay. For this we have to go to the toast wrapper and return this to 3 seconds. There you go. Nice. Here, let's say bottom right position. And they go off. There you go. So with so many hassles, we finished finally this. Okay, so let's give an ending to this. And that's how you can create a component with a service that can help you to create toast. Probably you don't need to download your own one. Probably you may want later on to improve the appearance of toast to have many other things that you may want to have for the appearance of your component. You may want a progress bar or a close button or decide your own logic regardless on how your component works. All of this can go on this part of the component. And that's pretty much what I did with this small project. So I hope you like the video. There are many technical parts that I wanted to cover, or many parts of the UI that I want to showcase, but because we are working in a library, we have to structure the code first before we push and see a result. So that is why that I focus a bit more in coding how the toaster component is gonna receive information and push the information to the front end, and how every time that we click into, or let's say the display toast the display toast function is gonna push immediately the data to the service and make sure that we see the components in the right, and they're in the right space. Okay, if you like this video, please hit a like, and if you like the content of this channel, please subscribe. That's pretty much for the day. And thank you very much for your attention, and see you in the next time. Thank you. Oh, finally. Oof. Okay. Now, tomorrow I'm gonna start to edit. That's gonna be quite a burden. Okay. So, I'm gonna say here, I'm gonna say here, and off topic. Okay. 2 hours 46. 2 hours 46. Damn, I had to resume that even like for 30 minutes. Okay. Some bumps on the road. I don't understand sometimes what happened to NX, but I'm gonna push this to my bots. That's it. Okay, stop recording and see you in the bots channel.